Hi everyone, my name is David Mallet, and today I will be your host for this Microsoft Tech Accelerator session. Today's topic will be securing your AI applications using Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. Of course, we know that AI is currently the topic that is on every mouth. And of course, it brings, just like every new technology, brings a lot of new concerns, new challenges. Some of them being ethical, some of them being data privacy, content ownership, a lot of different challenges, as you know. And we see that organizations are already starting to plan their strategy. They're already starting to figure out what's the best way to leverage artificial intelligence in an honest and secure way within their organizations. So these are some of the top security concerns, and we're going to try to address at least some of them today. So first of all, insufficient visibility and control. We've asked a number of CISOs and decision makers, and of course, top concern is lack of control. We have no idea what users are doing. Anybody can open a new browser tab, go to OpenAI and start copy pasting private confidential corporate data, and that's a risk in theory. It could be OpenAI, it could be any less secure or any other application that we would trust more or less. The over reliance on AI and the ethical concern is also something that's very, very important. It comes into data ownership questions, and that's the main concern. It's very important. And obviously, we don't know what the future will reserve to us when it comes to regulatory and compliance. So our decision makers want to make sure that they are able to plan for that in advance before the challenges actually happen. And we see that a lot of leaders are actually considering banning completely AI, which is an option, and that's something we'll see could also be a possibility. But we'll talk about how to do this in the right way if needed. So based on that, what we suggest as an approach is 3 phases: discover, protect, govern. It's a very clear cycle that we've seen in a lot of different areas. And so same goes with artificial intelligence. We're going to use that model to, first of all, find out what are the AI applications that are used in your environment. It's a very important starting point to make sure that we know the size of the problem or the extent of what we need to engage in and to protect. Then protection. Protection can be different things. It could be blocking an application. It could be allowing an application or allowing only certain AI application. That's the first kind of protection we can think of. And there's also governance. So governance, especially when it comes to sanctioned AI applications, I'm thinking of Copilot or any application that you would have in your environment that you want in your environment, you still want to have some level of governance, some level of control to make sure that it is used the right way and it's not risking the leak of extra data by making this data easily accessible. And so to help you protect those cloud applications and to protect your usage of those cloud applications, today we're going to talk more specifically about Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps is our SaaS security solution, our solution to protect your software as a service applications, whether they're Microsoft applications such as Office, Teams, obviously Copilot now, or non-Microsoft applications. You can see all the logo in the middle of this slide, such as Salesforce, Slack, DocuSign, Workday. We have a large number of those applications that we're able to help you secure. And so what we can do here with this product is obviously help you discover which SaaS applications are being leveraged in your environment. And that now includes generative AI applications. We can very simply detect them and categorize them. And once you have detected which applications are in use, you're able to protect them. First, you can protect against simple or complex threats. And that goes into the bigger story around Microsoft's XDR and Microsoft Defender. So we are able to have a combined view of the alerts, of your security challenges, your security attacks, whether they come from Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Office, or Defender for Cloud Apps in a comprehensive way. And we also have the ability to, using still Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, help with your information protection story, detecting confidential data that would be stored in your non-Microsoft applications. If some confidential data is stored in Salesforce, we are able to detect that, for instance. We also more recently added a SaaS security posture management feature to our products, and we are now able to detect whether an application is configured properly or if there are risks inherent to the way it's currently configured. So we can even prevent the attack before they happen when you're able to follow these recommendations. This ties into Secure Score and our greater posture management story. Finally, the last part of that slide here, as you can see, app-to-app protection. It's a big vector of attack that is happening right now. Any application that connects to another application, whether it's using the OAuth protocol or other protocols, and require access to your current applications, to your Office, to your Salesforce, we're also able to detect that and detect when it's malicious, so you can prevent that. This is just a very quick overview of Defender for Cloud Apps. We could spend an entire hour talking about this, which we're not going to do today. Today, we will focus on how to protect your generative AI applications. So now, how do we protect those generative AI applications? So first of all, Defender for Cloud Apps has out-of-the-box detection on using those AI apps in two different ways. Number one, when it comes to discovery, we are able to discover new apps that are in use in your environment. And you could set up their built-in policies, but you could also set policies to discover any new app that is a generative AI application and that has a significant usage base in the organization. You could detect them right away. Then that will allow you to decide what to do with them. Allow them, block them, or give a warning to the user that it's not a good idea to use them. Then we also have built-in detection for sanctioned applications. We have built-in detections that are now being introduced for Copilot, for instance. If we see a risky behavior using Copilot, we are able to warn the user and potentially warn off or prevent, let's say, data leakage or any other risky behavior. And let's start with that. We're going to talk about what kind of alerts we have in Defender for Cloud Apps that can help you with detecting, first of all, malicious usage of Copilot. Then in our second demo, we will talk about how to detect third-party applications that are also AI applications, and then you can decide what to do with those applications. All right, so now let's go with our first demo for today. We're going to see how to protect the use of Copilot for Microsoft 365. Let's get to our demo studio and show you exactly how this works. So to better understand how data exfiltration can occur with Copilot, let's see how the exfiltrator can proceed. First, as a typical attacker, we're connecting from a Tor browser, and we're logging into Copilot on behalf of the user. Then we're asking a very simple question. Show me the financial data for Project Obsidian, the main project of the company right now. Here, Copilot is doing its magic and looking for data from a large number of files that are stored in the environment's SharePoint. And we can have very clear details, and we can see on the side there's a little reference button. That's the beauty of Copilot, and also the risk. Within a few seconds, we have been able to get the data, the file, and browsing to the folder, we can see all the relevant file that needs to be exfiltrated. And with one click of a button, we're downloading them all. While all these exfiltrations were probably possible before, the challenge introduced by Copilot and AI is how easy it is to make those kind of searches. Of course, we want to allow our users to leverage those technologies for good, and we want to make sure that we detect when something risky happens. And that's why in Defender for Cloud Apps, we have added a new detection called Suspicious Interaction with Copilot for Microsoft 365. And here you can see that it triggered an alert based on the behavior that just happened. We can see the details. If we look on the right side, we have details about what kind of attack happened, when it happened. Browsing, we will see the user, and we will also see the file name. As you can see here, the full file name and path are available, and we can dig them up. Now, just like in every other pages of the Microsoft Defender portal, we are able to view more details about the user and pivot to user page when necessary. And as you can imagine, you can leverage all that data in advanced hunting to get more information, more detail, and to go deeper into your investigation. Here we're running a simple query with user Alex, where action type is Copilot interaction. And we can see very quickly where the file was downloaded and when. We can see all similar actions with one very simple query. Now, if writing KQL query is not something you're familiar with, you also have the ability to create a new query and use the user interface to make your searches. In the example here, we're showing you how to make a query for the display name, and we're going to search for all the activities that are coming from user Alex. As soon as we get the results back, we can start digging for the right activities. Here we're going to look for downloads, and we're going to look specifically for the downloads that were performed following the Copilot search we ran earlier. When clicking on an activity, the side pane here gives us all the details about the events that occurred. We can see exactly the file name, we can see the full path of the file, and we can have more information about the user. We even have the possibility to click and pivot into the user page. From this user page, we can see all the details about the threat and the timeline of actions. In the example here, we're going to see all the actions that happened leading to this Copilot search and the actions that happened after this Copilot search. So here we can see the activities from the Tor browser, as we saw previously, and then the search in Copilot, and finally the downloads. Following that, we can finally take an action, such as require the user to sign in again, or in the case here, suspend the user. We hope this first demo was valuable to you and helped you understand how to leverage those features to protect Copilot. Let's go now with the second demo. And the goal of that demo here is to show you how to discover and govern the use of all your AI applications, including third-party applications here. So you'll be able to detect them and decide what to do with their usage. And again, let's go back to our demo studio. Now let's review together how to discover AI apps that are used in your environment. Let's browse in the Microsoft Defender portal, and let's go to Cloud Apps, which is the section for Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. Under Cloud App Catalog, you will see the list of all 32,000 apps that have been reviewed by our analysts. Here you can see the name of each app, the category it belongs to, and its score. On the left side, you can see the list of app categories. We're going to make a quick search for AI. And you can see this brand new category that we added, Generative AI. By clicking on it, we'll see the list of apps that we have analyzed that are pertaining to Generative AI. We already have a long and thorough list, but as things move along, we will definitely update it. Now, if you see applications that already have a lower score than you would tolerate, or any other setting that would not be compliant with your policies, you can already unsanction it from here. Now, under Cloud Discovery, let's see which applications were actually discovered here. At first, we see our regular applications, the cloud apps that we are used to see, such as Dynamics, Salesforce, Office. But let's look specifically for AI. By clicking here on Generative AI, we see two applications, Copilot and Google Bard. And just from this screen, we can decide if we want to allow or not allow the usage of these applications. Now, I know you'll think you can't possibly review each of these applications one by one. This is why we can create a policy. And in that policy, you can decide that traffic that will apply to apps of the category generative AI that have a certain amount of traffic or a certain amount of users and a certain security score would be simply unsanctioned automatically. You can apply filters to this policy for each and every setting that our analysts have reviewed for each of these apps, such as the category, compliance factors. But here today, as we said, we're going to look specifically at the risk score, which is a final aggregate of each of those parameters. Then you can apply a tag as unsanctioned. You put a name on the policy, and you can save it. So now back to our presentation for a very short conclusion. As you can see that the use of AI is something that is not going to go away, and it's something that is just the future, and it's really something that our end users want to leverage. It's going to simplify their life, and of course, it comes with a lot of risks. So we hope you will be able to use our tools to protect from those risks. As we saw Microsoft Defender for Cloud App as one brick in that story of helping you discover, protect, and govern those applications. But bear in mind that a lot of other tools can help you in the area of data protection. For example, do not forget to look at Purview. In terms of access, you can use Microsoft Entra to control access to those applications as well, and you can use Microsoft Intune to verify the compliance of your machines, so you can control which applications on which device will be relevant. Here are a few resources. You're welcome to review them and use them. We will paste them in the chat window of that webinar. Well, thank you all for joining. Really appreciate that you joined our webinar. We hope that this will help you secure your AI applications. Please let us know if you have any additional questions. We have the chat window open for another few minutes, and we'll be happy to assist you and respond. Thank you all.